Hey guys, this is Mike Anthony, and today we're going to be installing a 324mm front rotor kit from HFM.Parts. This kit is designed to suit Nissan Skyline R32 GTR. For this install, you'll need a ratchet with 18, 19, and 12mm sockets, a 10mm Allen key socket, torque wrench, Loctite 262 or equivalent, sandpaper, a die grinder, and some multi-grips. Here we've got a Nissan R32 GTR with an OEM rotor and caliper. To begin, remove the brake line bracket using a 12mm socket. Then remove the caliper bolts using a 19mm socket. Prepare a tie-up point on the strut tower for when you remove the brake line and caliper. Removing it as a unit prevents you from needing to rebleed the system, and hoisting it out of the way gives you better access to the knuckle. Now, remove the caliper and the last 12mm bolt from behind the knuckle. This bolt is holding the brake line bracket. Do this without removing the brake line from the caliper, or you will need to rebleed the system. If, like on our car here, your rotor has rusted out onto the hub, you can spray the hub with a penetrant like we do here. Gently screw into place two M10 by 1.25mm bolts into the rotor until they stop. Tap the rotor using a plastic mallet to dislodge the rotor from the hub. Tighten the bolts further to finish separating the rotor from the hub face, then remove the rotor. Clean the hub face as best as you can to avoid rotor runout. We've used a medium compound sandpaper, which has worked quite well here. Then spray the hub with a cleaning agent and pat dry. Next, we need to alter the backing plate. You can remove the whole thing or just cut a section. For this customer, we're going to modify their backing plate to allow just enough room for the caliper. To do this, we're going to mark this first rib edge and cut it away using a grinder. We've also used a grinder with a flapper disc to remove any sharp edges. Depending on what side you're working on, grab the left or right hand adapter. You can easily determine this using the part number printed on the adapter. Install the adapter using one of the OEM bolts in the top hole of the adapter. Looking through the lower caliper hole, you can see that the adapter is obstructing the bolt hole. We'll need to bring the adapter closer to the knuckle so they can be aligned. To achieve this, we're going to grind a few mils off of the knuckle. Lift the adapter out of the way. This is the area we'll be working on with the die grinder. To prevent the carbide tip from clogging, spray with the penetrant prior to use. Remember, as you're grinding the knuckle to remove small portions at a time and then recheck if the bolt hole is clear. Now that we have a clear bolt hole, we can install the adapter. Begin with the OEM bolts, and then use the nylock bolts from the bolt kit. Once complete, torque the bolts to the setting listed on the screen. Attach the caliper as normal using the bolts supplied and tighten them so that the caliper stays in place. We're going to massage the hard brake line into place before installing the rotor, as it's easier to do so first. Then remove the caliper and pin it back onto the strut. Returning the backing plate, you'll need to bend back the outer edges to accommodate the larger rotor. We're using our 324mm two-piece rotors for this install. They have an anodized hub made of aircraft-grade aluminum, which is also hub-centric to the rotor. Place the rotor onto the hub and secure it with a lug nut. Then check to make sure there's enough clearance. To reinstall the caliper, add some Loctite to the 18mm hex head bolts and install the caliper as normal, then torque. Secure the hard brake line in its OEM position using the 12mm bolts you removed earlier. You may notice there's roughly 3 mils of pad overhang with this kit. This is completely normal and allows for the increase in rotor size without needing to change your caliper. You can see here, we've ensured there's roughly 3 mils of clearance for rotor expansion. And you're all done. It took roughly an hour and a half to get both sides done. However, if you're having any trouble installing this kit, don't forget to reach out to HFM.Parts. And of course, like and subscribe as we'll have more guides coming soon. Let us know in the comments what you'd like us to do next.